Maya also is the cause of the creation for Janma Sthiti Laya. That is why there was Ativyapti. Brahma also is said to be the cause of the creation, sustenance, dissolution of the world, and Maya also is the cause of the creation, sustenance, dissolution. Therefore, this particular Lakshana has Ativyapti. So Maya is cause of the creation, sustenance, dissolution. But if you say Brahman is the cause of the sustenance and dissolution, then there will be no Ativyapti in the Maya. In which case, this interpretation that Janma is Sthiti Bhango would be better because it would be free of the defect of Ativyapti. So why don't you choose that? Somebody is asking this Vedanti. You say, Itina Vachyam, this should not be said. Why? Sthiti Karanatvam, Laya Karanatvam va Lakshanamiti Ukte. If you say that Brahman is only the cause of the sustenance or dissolution alone, Ativyaptyadi dosha abhavevi, it is true that there will be, that definition will be free from the Ativyapti dosha being too general or including too much rather. Janma karanam brahmana anyadeva iti bhinnatva bhrame, but that sutra would convey the idea that the cause of creation is something other than Brahman. That kind of an idea would be conveyed when you present Brahman as the cause of the sustenance and dissolution. Then somebody would think that the cause of creation is something other than Brahman. Bhinnatva bhrame, it means that there are two causes. One is cause of creation, other is cause of sustenance and dissolution. Iti bhrame, brahmanaha vastu parichedena advitiyatva rupa brahmatva ayogat. Then there are two causes. One is Brahman, which is cause of sustenance and dissolution. Other is something else, which is cause of creation. And therefore, there are two vastus now. So then Brahma would suffer from what we call vastu paricheda, in which case it will not be advitiyam or non-dual. So the non-duality of Brahman will be sacrificed. Tasmat trita nirupita karanatva labhartham. Therefore, it is necessary to present Brahman as a cause of all these three. Then alone there will be what we call the non-duality of Brahman, in order therefore to gain that benefit. Tad guna samvijnana bahurihim ashritya. Therefore, Bhashyakara has taken the ashraya of Tad guna samvijnana bahurihi. Janmasthiti bhanga rupa samahara eva samasartha iti avashyam angikaraniyam. And therefore, you will have to accept, in order to sustain the non-duality of Brahman, to make Brahman free from this vastu paricheda, it will be necessary that this compound should necessarily mean Janmasthiti bhanga, all of them, and therefore, and not Janmasthiti bhangaha, because Janmad is singular, therefore Janmasthiti bhangam, that samahara dvandva, that is how this will have to be interpreted. Then alone Brahman will be presented as the cause of all this creation, sustenance and dissolution of the world. We will at the moment accept the Ativyapti dosha. To us, Ativyapti dosha will answer in a different way. But Vastu Paricheda of Brahma is a more serious thing. And therefore, even at the risk of Ativyapti dosha, we will say that Janmad is Tadguna Samvijnano Bahuvrihi. Okay. That's what is said by going up to the Ratna Prabha now, in the first line, Tathacha Janmanaha Samasarthaika Deshasya Gunatvena Samvijnanam Yasan Bahuvriho Tat Guna Samvijnana Ityarthaha Janmanaha Samasarthaika Deshasya, Janma which is one part of the Samasa, Janmasthiti Bhangam, Gunatvena meaning Viresheshanattvena Yasmin Bahuvriho. So there is knowledge of that Janma which is one part of the compound in which Bahuvrihi is called Tadguna Samvijnano Bahuvrihi. Tatra yad janma karanam tad brahma iti brahmatva vidhanam ayuktam. That also could have been said. Janma is the cause, Janma is the adi of which Jagat, and that is due to which Brahman, which is called Brahman. In which case Janmadi would have been interpreted that way. So if you interpret the word Janmadi in that sense, compound, tatra yad janma karanam tad brahma iti brahmatva vidhanam ayuktam. If you say that Brahman is merely the cause of Janma, स्थितिलय कारणात् भिन्नत्वेन ज्ञाते ब्रह्मत्वस्य ज्ञातुम अशक्यत्वात्, in which case some other would have to be the cause of the sthiti and the laya, in which case Brahma again there would be duality. And similarly also if you say that atadguna samvijnana bahuvrihi, if you say, then also Brahman would be presented as the cause of the sthiti and laya and not of janma, then also there would be vastu paricheda. And therefore, this is the only proper way of explaining Janmadi. So, Sutrakara will not waste any word. He would not say Janmasthiti Bhangaha Asya Yataha. He would not say that. If all that long thing can be stated by Janmadi, then that is only proper. And even those different explanations are possible, but inasmuch as the consistency, in order for the consistency and compatibility with the Shruti, you can only give a given explanation. And so automatically Purva Pakshas are all answered by even choosing a certain compound. By choosing a certain way of presenting, automatically Purva Pakshas are thought of and answered by the Sutrakara, which we have to see how he must have thought, and how that's how Bhashyakara brings out. And even Bhashyakara doesn't clarify it much. So we have to see why Bhashyakara said Tadguna Samvijnano Bahuvrihi. Then what Purva Pakshas are answered by that statement, that's what the Tikakaras tell us, So without this it would be impossible to understand Brahma Sutra, without all this treatment. Says Puranandi, Atra Janma Karanam Karta Rupam Vivakshitam Tasman Na Mayayam Adivyapti Abhipretya Doshantaramaha. Somebody says, it is better that you say that Janma is the Brahma is the cause of Janma. Then Maya is the cause of Janma Sthiti Laya, and Brahma is the cause of Janma alone, in which case there will be no Ativyapti in Maya. And Kartru Rupam. So Brahma will be presented as Kartru, meaning Chetanam, and Maya is Jada, therefore there will be no Ativyapti. He says then there will be other problem, that Sthiti Laya, there will be another cause, and therefore there will be Vastu Paricheda. And therefore, only Ataha, as Ratnaprabha says, Janmasthiti Bhangaihi Nirupitani Trini Karanatvani Militani eva Lakshamiti Matva Sutre Samaharo Dyotidaha iti Dhyayam. And therefore, Ataha therefore, Janmasthiti Bhangaihi Nirupitani Trini Karanatvani. That Brahman is the threefold cause of the creation. Not one-fold cause, but threefold cause of the creation, cause of the world, cause of creation, cause of sustenance, and cause of dissolution. And that this sense must be conveyed, and for that alone the Tadguna Samvijnano Bahuvrihi is employed by the Sutrakara. So, Trini Karanatvani Militani eva Lakshanam. That it becomes the Lakshanam definition of Brahman when all these three causes are combined. So Brahman is combined cause of all these three, and that is the Lakshanam. Iti Matva, keeping that in mind, Sutre Samaharo Dyotidaha. Dyotidaha means Sutrastha Janmaditi Napumsakaika Vachanena Samaharo Dyotidaha iti Bhavaha. That the Sutra actually indicates or reveals a Tadguna Samvijnana. And Samahara Dvand, Samahara means Napumsaka Ekavachanam is what is revealed there in Sutra. Okay, so that is how this interpretation of Janmadi as Tadguna Samvijnana releases Brahman from Vastu Paricheda and presents Brahman as the combined cause of the creation, sustenance and dissolution of the whole universe. And when you present Brahman as the efficient cause, then there is no Ativyapti in Maya. Because efficient cause or Kartrutvam must necessarily be in a conscious being, and Maya being Jada. Therefore, there is reason also that in this, Brahman is not presented merely as a material cause, because Maya can also be material cause. Brahman is presented as efficient and material cause, and that will not be in Maya, because Maya is merely material cause, whereas because it is Brahman is a conscious being, and efficient cause can only be conscious, in that sense there is no Ativyapti in Maya. Okay, Janmadi, Janma Adi Asteti Janmadi. Then now Ratnaprabha says, Nanu Aditvam Janmanah Katham Jnatavyam. How can you say Janma is the beginning of which, or Janma is the first of which? In this creation being beginningless, where is the question of first? Samsarasya Anaditva. Since samsara of the creation is beginningless, there is no Adi at all, how does Sutrakara say Janmadi? Janma is Adi, of which is called Janmadi. That means Janma or the birth enjoys Aditvam or Prasamatvam or being the first. But when the universe is beginningless, there is no first creation. This whole series of creation, sustenance, dissolution is going on, and therefore you cannot say that Janma or the creation is the first phenomenon or the first happening, because there cannot be first in what we call the beginningless. So, nanu aditvam janmanah katham jnatavyam samsarasya anaditvat. When samsara is anadi, how can you say that janma is adi or the prathama or the first one? Then Bhashyakara explains, janmanascha. Says Bhashya on the page 98, janmanascha aditvam shruti nirdeshapeksham vastuvrittapeksham shruti nirdeshastavata yato va imani bhutani jayante इत्यस्मिन् वाक्ये जन्मस्थिति प्रलयानां क्रमदर्शनात् वस्तुवृत्तमपि जन्मना लब्धसत्ताकस्य धर्मिणः स्थिति प्रलय संभवात् जन्मनश्च आदित्वं Shruti Nirdesha Peksham. In as much as this sutra has a correspondence with the Shruti Vakya Yato Vayamani Bhutani Jayante, there in that Shruti, Janma is presented as the first of the three phenomena, Janma, Sthiti and Laya, and therefore Shruti Nirdesha Apeksham. That Janma is presented as Adi or the first in the sutra, keeping in mind the presentation of Janma as the first in that Shruti. So that there is a correspondence between the sutra and the Shruti. But why should Shruti also arbitrarily place Janma in the beginning? Vastu Vritta Apeksham cha. Vastu Vritta Apeksham means that is a Vastu Vritta, that is Svabhava. It is the nature of the things that Janma or the beginning or the is the first thing, and then comes sustenance, and then comes the dissolution. So in anything also, Janma is the first. Therefore, Shruti also presents Yato va imani bhutani jayante. And therefore, keeping that nature of things as well as the statement of the Shruti, Sutrakar also presents here Janma as the first one. In that compound, Janma Sthiti Bhangam. Janma is placed first. That's all. Janma is, Aditvam is being placed first in that compound also. And reciting that is the first one. So when you recite or when you state, then you always start with Janma Sthiti Bhanga rather than Sthiti Bhanga Janma. Nobody says that. It is built up in our own thinking pattern that you always think of, because whatever begins always begins with creation, birth. And then the growth is there, then the dissolution is there, that is our common experience. And therefore, whenever we mention anything, we will always mention birth as the first. When was this fellow born? That was the first question. And therefore, keeping these two in mind, so that's why Bhashyakara Shruti Nirdeshasthavata, that the Shruti is Yato va imani bhutani jayante. That's why the Shruti presents Janma or as first, places Janma as the first. Yasmin Vakye Janma Sthiti Pralayanam Krama Darshanat. In that statement of the Shruti, we see a krama or a sequence. Sequence is Janma, Sthiti and Pralaya. Vastu Vrittamapi. Vastu Vrittamapi means Vastu Gatyacha. Vastu Gatya means by the nature of the Vastu, by the nature of the things also, Janmana Labdha Saptakasya Dharminah Sthiti Pralaya Sambhavat. When a Sthiti or Pralaya, the sustenance and dissolution is possible for what? For something which has again birth. So Dharminah, of an object or a thing, which when first gains birth, then alone the Sthiti and Bhanga are possible. Otherwise, this sustenance dissolution is not possible. This is our common experience, and keeping that in mind also, the Janma or the birth is presented as the first one. It is compound Janma Sthiti Bhangam. So Ratnaprabha says, Moola Shrutya Vastugatya cha Aditvam Jnatva Tadapeksha Sutrakuta Janmana Aditvam Uktam Ityartha. Aditvam means placing it first in the compound also, and also psychologically, in as much as Janma takes place first, it is just stated not to mean that the creation is the beginning. But then, in any particular cycle, the birth is first, then sustenance and dissolution also. samsarasya anaditvena sthitinasanantaram api utpattehe drishyatvat. They will say that if Janma is the beginning, then it should not occur again. Since samsara is the beginning, even after the sthiti and nasha, again Janma comes. So you can't say Janma is first because it follows sthiti and nasha also. Therefore it was said, so Shruti Nirdesha Apeksham, Vasturta Apeksham cha. Vastugatya meaning Ekaika Sargam Puraskritya Itya iti Shesha. Take any particular cycle in which Janma is the first, keeping that in mind, that's all. Janitva Sthitva Vilayate iti Anubhava Vastugati Shabdartha hai. That a thing is first born and then remains for a time and then gets dissolved or destroyed or perishes. This is the usual nature of things, keeping that in mind. So Janmadi, this much is explained in discussion so far, Janmadi. Now Asya, Asya is the sixth case of the word Idam. So Asya. And Bhashyakara now proceeds to explain the meaning of the word Asya. Says Ratnaprabha, Idamah Pratyaksharthamatravachitvam ashankya Upasthita Sarvakaryavachitvamah Asya iti. Idamah, sixth case of the word Idam. Inasmuch as Asya is the sixth case of word Idam, therefore Idamah, meaning of Asya. Pratyaksharthamatra, generally Idam or this is the pronoun employed for indicating that which is manifest. You say this person, this tree, this microphone, this book. So this is a pronoun that is employed for indicating that which is manifest or that which is evident, that which is in front of you. And therefore, idam normally is a compound, is a pronoun that is employed in that sense. Pratyaksharthamatra vachitvam ashankya. And therefore, when the sutra says janmadi asya, where asya is the sixth case of idam, therefore perhaps sutrakara means to say that Brahmani is the cause of merely the manifest creation, then there will be some other cause for the unmanifest creation. Because that is where this idam is usually employed. So idama pratyaksharthamatra vachitvam ashankya. Somebody say that idam has the word meaning of the idam is pratyakshartha, that which is perceptible. So that which is perceptible or perceptible to senses is usually indicated by idam. That is not desirable. We should wish to include everything possible, not only gross but subtle and causal. All that creation should be included, and Brahma should be the cause of everything and anything. Otherwise, if something is left out, if Saturn is not created by God, let us say, if Saturn enjoys a satta independent of God, then he is not in control, and that's what they believe. Now Saturn has control of the world, then God comes and controls the world, like that, you see. So yin and yang or whatever, these forces come, so whatever it is. It may not be as simple as that, but then this is how Saturn is presented in this manner, an independent entity. And you cannot accept a God who doesn't control Saturn or anybody, then he's not Ishvara. Ishvara is the one who is the overlord, who doesn't have any lord of himself and who is the lord of everything and everyone, that should be called Ishvara. Similarly, Brahman is the cause of creation, it must be the cause of everything. If something is beyond the realm of Brahman's creation, then that becomes independent of Brahman, enjoys the satta independent of Brahman, then presents a duality. So this asya presents a little difficulty in that sense, which difficulty Bhashyakara seeks to avoid. So upasthita sarvakaryavachitvam, we say that idam or this asya should stand for sarvakarya. Not merely that which is pratyaksham or perceptible, but it should also include that which is anumeyam, meaning inferred or whatever. So anumana, arthapatti, and whatever means of knowledge are available to us, whatever can possibly be known or knowable. So asya is presented as perceptible not only now, but whatever can become perceptible. This is also fine. Asya means that of the perceptible world. We say that not only that is perceptible at the present, but what can become perceptible. And not only perceptible to me, but whatever can become perceptible to anyone at any time, under any conditions, is all asya. And so something will become perceptible to somebody at some time in some condition, like heavens. Is not perceptible now, But sometime after death when I go there, it will become perceptible. Therefore it will be included as asya. Otherwise, all those things will not be included in asya. In which case, there will be some other creator for that stuff. Asya is what? Perceptible or that which is perceived or that which is perceptible. That which is known or knowable to anyone and everyone. So whatever the scientists will discover for all the time to come, all of that, because there are so many things that are not perceptible today, which were not perceptible 100 years ago, like gamma rays, X-rays, atoms, molecules, all kinds of things, Even today they are not perceptible for your information. Nobody has seen an electron. It's just simply a matter of inference. So you infer that there is some, anyway, so all of these are inferential matters. And so but still they are there. We know that something is there which we call electron. Now what it is, that is debated anyway, but something is there which we call electron. And so that is not perceptible. It is only inferred. And so then that would not be included in asya. He says no, whatever is perceptible or can be perceptible or knowable, all of that is included in asya. Upasthita sarvakaryavachitvam. So whatever is presented, all the karya, the total range of effect or the creation is to be included by asya. Says Udanandya, idamahaiti in the last line, in the first line of page 99, asya jagatah janmadi ityadina pratyaksham yad jagat tat karanatvam eva brahmanah pratipadyate natu akashadi karanatvam akashadehe apratyakshatvadi shankituh abhiprayah. He still wants to, try to frustrate you in some way. That sutrakara only says asya, and therefore yat pratyaksham jagat tat karanatvam eva brahmanah. So whatever is perceptible creation, Brahman enjoys the causality only of that creation. And whatever is not perceptible, such as space, is not perceptible. Time, that is not perceptible. And whatever, Atma is not perceptible according to different, they are not perceptible. So there is a whole class of things that are not perceptible. They would say that Brahman is not the cause of that. Akashadehe, akashadi karatvam natu. Akashadehe apratyakshatvat. Since Akasha is not perceptible, the Purva Pakshi desires to somehow indicate here or desires to say that Brahman is not presented as the cause of Akashadi. In which case again Vedanti will have trouble of this Vastu Paricheda, and he says no, it includes everything. That's what Bhashyakara says. Bhashya says asya iti pratyakshadi sannidhapitasya dharminah idama nirdesha. Idama is the third case. Idama, sixth case of idam. Idama is the third case of idam. Idama means what? By the derivative of the word idam. So third case of idam is idama. So by idam meaning by this word asya, nirdesha. What does this asya indicate? Asya iti pratyakshadi sannidhapitasya. Sannidhapita, that which is presented before you. Pratyakshadi, not only pratyaksh means not only that is perceptible, but including anumanadi, anumana, arthapatti, and whatever means of knowledge, anything is knowable or known, all of that is included by the word asya. Says pratyakshadi sannidhapitasya प्रत्यक्ष अनुमानादि प्रमाण ही संवेदित से भाष्य पदस्य अर्थ है. सन्निधापितस्य means what? Samveditasya. Whatever is known by pratyaksha, anumana, perception, inference, and any other means of knowledge, whatever is known or knowable, all of that is to be understood as included by the word asya. Asya goes with, asya means jagatah, of this world. Now Ratnabhava continues further. Vyedadi jagatah nityatvat na janmadi sambandha ityadaha shasthiti. Another problem, So it says Vyedadi jagatah nityatvat. There are fellows who believe that Akasha is uncreated. Nayayikas. So in their nitya or uncreated things, space and time also are, desha and kala also are nitya. Atma is nitya, but so many other things are nitya according to them. And therefore, Vedadi Jagataha, of this creation, of which space, also Vedadi Jagataha you can say, of this whole creation, is Anadi. It's another thing. Creation is what? Anadi. And therefore it is what? Nityam. Pravaha Nityatvam is there according to us, but the Nityatvam is there according to other people. Those who consider space etc. as Nitya or uncreated, at least space is uncreated. And then anything created from the space also. Vedadi. Ved means space is the Adi of which? Of this Jagat. Nityatvat. Or somebody may say that the creation is Nitya. And therefore, na janmadi sambandha. Therefore, this Janma Adi cannot be related with Asya, should be related with Yata. So the whole idea here is that Asya is sixth case. What is Yataha? Yataha can be fifth case of this word Yat, or it can be sixth case of the Yat. Somebody says that this Jagat or the universe is Nitya. And therefore this Janmadi should be related with what? Not with Asya, should be related with Yataha. Where Yat can be considered a sixth case, or that is Brahma. Janmadi of Brahma. That's how they want to relate somehow. See, they will make every effort, as we say, to frustrate you, And so here says, Vyadadi Jagataha Nityatvad. Let us say this, you can present a paksha, what is that position? That Jagat beginning from space is Nityam, is imperishable. Nityam is Avinashi. And that which is indestructible also will be free from birth. Na Janmadi Sambandha. So therefore, that Jagat, the Janmadi should not be connected with Asya or Jagat, should be connected, let us say, with Brahma. That's what they would wish to say. Ityaha. So you see, all these possibilities are there. When you make the sūtra very brief, then it lays open for so many other kinds of interpretations also. Whenever there is brevity, there is always a possibility of variety of interpretations or misinterpretations or misunderstanding. You should not be so brief that you are not understood properly or misunderstood. You should not be so elaborate that people get bored of it or that you can confuse them. You should not be so brief also that they can misinterpret what you are saying. So brevity also should not be the cost of clarity. The sutra has brevity all right, but then this seems to question clarity here. So somebody says here that this Janmadi should be related. Both are six cases. Yataha also, you can say it's sixth case. Asya also is sixth case, and therefore, why not Janmadi be related to Yataha? So he says here, Shashti, therefore Bhashyakara had to say this. Why should Bhashyakara say it? Any statement here, why should he make? Not unless it is necessary. Not unless it clarifies something. Or it akshepasya samadhanam. So that is the Vyakhyana Lakshanam. Some akshepa is there, some question or doubt is there, and samadhanam is present. Every sentence of Bhashyakara will present samadhanam or some akshepa or the other. Will not, natu vritha vakyam samuccharyadam. He will not want to use any single vakya which is meaningless or useless or not absolutely necessary. And vakya there also means shabda. Not even a word should be used unnecessarily. And you can see Bhashyakara himself following that. Whatever he preaches, he so very well follows it in the writing. I guess that's how he's talking also must be. When writing is like that, such a disciplined mind it is. So says here, Bhashya, Shashti Janmadi Dharma Sambandhartha. So Shashti Janmadi Dharma Sambandhartha. Shashti is the Sambandha Shashti or Shesha Shashti, meaning in the sense of Sambandha or relationship. Janmadi Dharma. Janmadi meaning creation, sustenance, etc. Dharma or the attribute of which creation, that it should go, this Shashti Asya should go with Janmadi and not with something else. So Bhashyakara says Asya because that is being commented upon. That Asya is Janmadi Dharma Sambandhartha. Asya is Jagataha, alright. And that Janmadi should be related to Asya or Jagataha and not with Yataha. That is the idea there. So don't say that this Janma Sthiti Laya of Brahman, or something like that, that kind of interpretation is not there. Janma Sthiti Laya of this creation is due to which is Brahman. That's what it said. Yataha iti padam shashchantam iti shankituh abhiprayah. This was abhipraya. Siddhant abhipraya to panchamyantam iti bhedah. Siddhant says yataha is panchami, then apadana panchami or karana. And the Shankitu says it is shashti, in which case he will want to mess up the things, and so that is not the case. That's the idea there. That's what the Purnanandaya says there. Okay. Now continuing with the Ratna Prabha. Nanu jagatah janmadehe va brahma sambandha abhavat na lakshanatvam iti ashankya. Again, the same question is brought up. See, in the introduction, all these questions were taken up by the Tikakara, but now Bhashyakara has to deal with all of them. So, what we discussed already yesterday is brought up here for discussion. It says, Nanu jagatah janmadehe va brahma sambandha abhavat. We say that Jagat or the world is not in any way connected with Brahman, nor Janma Sthiti Laya are also connected with Brahman, because Brahman is asangam. So it is no connection with Jagat, and Brahma is free from Janma Sthiti Laya itself, and therefore Brahman is not connected with Janma. Brahma doesn't have Janma, doesn't have Laya. So we can't say it as Sthiti also, in that sense. So Brahman is not connected with Janma Sthiti Laya, nor is Brahman connected with Jagat. Na lakshanatvam, therefore, Janmadi cannot become the, or Janmadi asya, cannot become the Lakshana of Brahma. So Karanatvam cannot become the Lakshana of Brahma. Iti ashankya. That is true. Lakshanatvam iti ashankya. Tat Karanatvam Lakshanam. True. Inasmuch as Brahman is unconnected to Janma, Sthiti or Laya, or unconnected to Jagat also, therefore that cannot become the Lakshana of Brahma. So Yataha cannot be connected with Janmadi, meaning Yataha cannot be the Shashti, then Yataha must be Panchami. So Tat Karanatvam Lakshanam iti Panchamyarthamaha. So Vashyakara says that Brahma is the cause for Janma Sthiti Laya or cause for creation, and not that Brahman has Janma Sthiti Laya or Brahman is related to Jagat. But Brahman is the cause of the Jagat and the Janma Sthiti Laya. So, Janmadi Sambandhi Jagat Sambandhitvam, Jagat Sambandhi Janmadi Sambandhitvam, alright. So, Janmadi Sambandhi Jagat Sambandhitvam. Jagat is connected with Janma Sthiti Laya, or Janma Sthiti Laya connected with Jagat. Brahma is cause of both of them. Brahman is cause of Janma Sthiti Laya associated with Jagat, or Brahma is cause of Jagat associated with Janma Sthiti Laya. This is what they intend to say, and that is how Yata is Panchamyantam. How much thought has been given, You can see how much thought has been given to every word. This is called Mimamsa. Here we are taking every word of Sūtra. Sūtrakara has taken the statements of Shruti, and here we are taking every word of Sūtra and analyzing the purport. That's all. It's not grammatical analysis. Tatparya Nirnaya. What is the purport of every word and therefore every sutra ultimately? That is the whole, that is called Mimamsa. And therefore every possible question, and still there are so many apparently which are not answered, therefore there are so many other Prakarana Granthas are there, many other minor questions are there which they didn't have time and perhaps, you can dispose them off, and therefore important questions are taken here in this Bhashya, Sutra and Bhashya. Still, many questions are there which are subsequently answered by later Acharyas, like Panchadashi, and so many other texts came along. And all of them, all the Siddhi Granthas are there, and they answer so many questions, which perhaps could have been raised here also, but which are not raised here because they are left for other people to do exercise with, But important questions are, some exercise also is left at the end of the chapter, and that is for the other teachers to take care of. So Bhashyakara says, Lakshana Panchamyartham, says Bhashyakara, Yataha iti Karana Nirdeshaha. So when the Karana, it means Panchamyantam. So Yataha is Padana Panchami, means that is Karana. Karana is either in third instrumental case or the Panchamya. So Panchami here shows the Karanatvam, that Brahman is Karanam of Jagat, associated with Janmasthiti-laya, or Karanam of Janmasthiti-laya, associated with Jagat. None of them associated with Brahman, associated with the others. Okay, so Ratnaprabha says, Yat Shabdena Satyam Jnanamanantananda Rupam Vastu Uchyate. Yataha, from that or from which. So Yataha is the fifth case of the word Yat. What is meant by Yat? It must be Prasiddham. You see, whenever you use the word Yat, that pronoun is used, it should always refer to something that is already well known. That is Prasiddham. That person came, that man came. That means what? It's only known to the fellows who are talking, otherwise, that boy came there. Which boy? That boy came there, The fellow has never seen him, then I cannot refer to him as that. Then I must describe that person. And then if it is known, then we can use the pronoun that. So pronoun that should always be used for that which is already well known. Should not be used for something unknown to the person who is listening. That building, which the building you are talking about. First you describe that. And then buddhyarudam, when it becomes known to the person, then you can refer to as that. So here Sutrakara says Yataha. What is Yataha? That something must be famous. So says Ratnaprabha, Yat Shabdena, that famous thing, famous for the people who are versed with the Shruti. Satyam Jnanam Anantananda Rupam Vastu Uchyate. Anantam, Anandam also they include there. Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma, Vijnanam Anandam Brahma, that which is very well known in the Shruti, that Vastu, that thing or that Satya or that reality is what is indicated here by the word Yat. Where do we get the fifth case? Anandadhyeva khal vimani bhutani jayante iti nirnitatva. Has the Shruti employed? That's why Anantam Anandam. Shruti doesn't say Anantadhyeva khal vimani bhutani jayante, Anandadhyeva khal vimani bhutani jayante. Therefore, that Ananta should be Ananda. Or therefore Ratnaprabha says Satyam Jnanam Anantam Ananda. Anandam, Ananda Rupam. So, because Anandad is fifth case. So there in Taittiriya Upanishad, that Brahma which is Anandam, so Anandadhyeva khal vimani bhutani jayante. From Ananda alone, indeed, all these beings are born. Anandena jatani jivanti. By the Ananda they are all sustained. Anandam prayantyabhisham vishanti. Unto Ananda, when they die, all of them go and merge and become one. So there Ananda is presented as the Jagat Karanam. And their Ananda is presented in the fifth case, Apadana Panchami. And therefore there is a correspondence, Yataha. This is why Yataha has correspondence to that statement of the Shruti. Anandadhyeva nirnitatva. Thus in the Shruti, it has already been ascertained that Ananda, which is Brahma, from that alone the whole creation arises. Tasacha swarupa lakshana siddhiti mantavyam. So Yatova, Yataha says both. Yatova imani bhutani jayante, as well as Yataha means what? Ananda. That's what they want to do, you see. Whether Sutrakara must have intended, we imagine, But here, they want to present Brahman as Abhin Nimitta Upadana Karanam. So Yataha is a Panchami. That can mean Apadana Panchami, in which case it is material cause, or it can also mean the efficient cause. So Yataha is Anandad, and Ananda means Satyam Jnanam Anantam. So Brahman which Satyam Jnanam Anantam, from that the whole universe is born, and that way Yat Shabda also indicates the Swarupa Lakshanam of Brahma, and not only the Tatastha Lakshanam of Brahma. Tathacha Swarupa Lakshana Siddhi iti mantavyam. Shrutishu Brahma Bodhaka Padanam idam anandapadam upalakshanam iti mantavyam. Satyam Jnanavanantam is the direct Brahma Bodhaka Pada, and Ananda is Upalakshanam, is to be understood as included there. Because Taittiriya doesn't say Satyam Jnanavanantam Anandam Brahma, you know. Sarupa Lakshana iti Nanu Sarvatra Dharmaha eva Lakshanam Bhavati Tat Katham Dharmi eva Sasya. Oh, that's okay. So there, it is not that Satyam Jnanavanantam are the attributes of Brahman, but Satyam Jnanavanantam themselves is Brahman. So that's all discussed in Taittiriya Upanishad. Satyam Jnanavanantam Brahma, then Satyam Jnanavanantam are attributes of Brahman. Each one means Brahma. So Dharmi itself becomes a Lakshanam. Normally Dharma is present, attributes are presented as Lakshanam or the characteristic of a thing. Here the Dharmi itself is presented as characteristic because there is no difference between Dharma and Dharmi in this case. That's the discussion there. Okay. और केचित् तो स्वरूपमेव लक्षणम स्वरूप लक्षणम यथा सत्यम ज्ञानम ब्रह्म इति अत्र सत्यादिकम स्वरूप लक्षणम. That is स्वरूपम which is itself is लक्षणम. Okay, not स्वरूपस्य लक्षणम but स्वरूपमेव लक्षणम. All right, I think we can go ahead further. Now, going with Ratna Prabha. Padartha muktva purva sutrastha brahmapada anushangena tat shabdadhyaharena cha sutravakyarthamaha asya ityadina. Okay, Bhashyakara has first given padartham. Janmadi asya yataha. What is janmadi? Janma adi asya iti janmadi tadguna samvijnano bahuvrihi. And therefore, Janmasthiti Bhangam Samasartha. Having stated that, Asya refers to what? Pratyakshadi Sannidhapitasya Dharminaha Jagataha Nirdeshaha Yataha iti Karana Nirdeshaha. In this manner, the Padartha meaning, the meaning of the three words has first been given by Bhashyakara. So, that is Padarthokti. So Padarthokti, Padacheda hai, Padarthokti. So Padacheda is done and Padarthokti also is done, Vigraha also is done, Vakya Yojana etc. is done. Then Akshepa Samadhana, all of these must be done. So says Ratna Prabha, Padartha Muktva, Purva Sutrastha Brahmapada Anushangena Tat Shabda Adhyaharena Cha Sutra Vakyarthamaha. What's the Vakyartha of the Sutra? What does Sutra mean here? So Purva Sutrastha Brahmapada Anushangena, Athato Brahma Jignasa, in that earlier sutra, that word Brahma was there. Anushangena, you must follow, you must understand that the word Brahma follows in this sutra also. So it is to be brought in this sutra also. Tat Shabda Adhyaharena Cha. So Brahmapada Anushangena, Tat Shabda Adhyaharena Cha. And in order to complete the sense on the sense of this particular sutra, you must also add the word Tat. So you must bring the word Brahma from the previous sutra and you must also add the word Tat in order to complete the sense of this sutra. Janmadyasya yataha Tad Brahma. Janmadi asya yataha Tad Brahma. This is the meaning of the sutra. Asya jagataha, of this jagat, Janmasthiti Bhanga is due to which or from which that is Brahma. So Tad Brahma, these two words are supplied. Why do you supply the word Brahma? Because that word Brahma appeared in the previous sutra. Therefore you are justified in supplying. Otherwise it would be Pradhanam or some such thing. Immediately the fellows will say, why do you supply the word Brahma? Why don't you say that Tat Pradhanam? But no, word Brahma appeared in the previous sutra. Therefore Anushanga is there. And Tat also is supplied here. So Tat Shabda Adhyaharena Cha Sutra Vakyarthamaha. Now Bhashyakara gives Vakyartha meaning, the artha meaning of this particular sutra, Asya iti ityadina. If you are just interested, I mean some kind of a discussion is here on the last lines of page 99. Nanu, third line of the last paragraph. Nanu Swarupa Tatastha Lakshana Upanyasasya Kim Prayojanam iti ched. Why this Swarupa and Tatastha Lakshana? Why are these two kinds of Lakshanas given? Swarupa Lakshana and Tatastha Lakshana. Why two kinds of Lakshanas are presented? Iti ched. Atra, he independently does things, Purnanandiya independently brings up some discussions, which are not directly brought up by Ratnaprabha, but then which are there because he says Swarupa Lakshana Siddhi. So earlier says Tatastha Lakshanam, Jagat Karanatvam is Tatastha Lakshanam, and Satyam Jnanam Anantam Anandam is the Swarupa Lakshanam. Why is the need for these two kinds of Lakshanas? Then, and Purnanandiyas Atra, Brahma Vidya Bharane, Sri Guru Charanastu Evamahu. So whenever it says Sri Guru Charanas, is Advaitananda Sri Guru Charana. That's what is to be understood, in Brahma Vidya Bharanam, whatever that is. So Brahma Vidya Bharane, there is no end to all these texts that you can study anyway. Thank God that we should thank this Tikakaras that they bring from all places for us. Otherwise, where will you go study all these things, At least I would find it impossible to do that. Sri Guru Charanastu eva mahuhu tathahi yatha chandram didarshayishuhu aptaha. So this Shakha Chandra Nyaya is presented here, that there is Dvitiya Chandra. So this Dvitiya Chandra is a very thin line. Chandra, the moon on the Dvitiya, is a very thin line. And therefore, suppose there is some elderly person who wants to show that Chandra to somebody else, some young person. Aptaha. Prasamam digantaragata nakshatradibhyah drashtim varayitum shakhayam chandradi adhikaranataya sammanna visheshana prasamam shakham upadatte. Hey, look at that moon, and this fellow will look in all directions, because you can't directly see that, immediately see. So look at the moon, he sees all sorts of places, and he will look where there is light. Generally speaking, the stars are very bright, and therefore the first instinct of the person will be to look at the bright stars, thinking that moon is a very bright object. Drashtim varaitum. First of all, you should make the person become free from preoccupation with looking at the other stars, and you have to direct his attention from the other stars to the moon. But instead of directing his attention to the moon, first his attention is directed to the nearest branch of a tree. So don't look in all sorts of places, Bhagamaro, So he may be looking around all that. Look here. So moon is there. So therefore, Shakhayam Chandrahiti. Therefore, Apta will not say the moon is in the sky. He say Shakhayam Chandraha. Look at the moon and the branch, he will say. So therefore, this boy will look at the branch. That is how his drashti or his attention is withdrawn from all other objects, and attention is directed to the branch. Okay. So Shakhayam Chandrahiti Adhikaranataya Sambandha Visheshena. So Shakha means Adhikaranam. Shakhayam Chandraha. So moon on the branch. Shakhayam is the seventh case. Adhikarana Saptami. So as though moon is located on the branch, somebody would think Sambandha Visheshena Prathamam Shakham Upadatte. So the branch enjoys some kind of relationship with moon, and therefore, first of all, Shakha is presented here as the Adhikaranam or the locus for moon. Tatascha Digantarvyavrutta Chakshusha. Now that this fellow's eyes are now withdrawn from all other directions and have been directed to this branch, Chandra Samipa Vartitarakadishu Chandra Brahma Mabhutiti Tatswarupam. Then he may look at the branch and may see moon as well as other stars also. So may not know which out of all these bright objects is moon. So Chandra Samipavarti Tarakadishu, there may be many bright stars in the vicinity of moon, and therefore in order to again withdraw his attention or fold up his attention from the other bright objects such as stars and focus attention on the moon, that he may not mistake some stars as moon, Tat Swarupam Prakrishta Prakashatmakam Bodhayati Prakrishta Prakashas Chandraha. See, this is where the statement comes. So then he says Prakrishta Prakashas Chandraha. First, Shakhayam Chandraha. This is called Swarup Tatastha Lakshanam, where Shakha is unrelated to moon, only temporarily associated with moon and associated with moon alone. Therefore Shakha becomes what? Tatastha Lakshanam. Having said that, then Prakrishta Prakashis Chandraha. Then to actually make him identify moon with reference to other bright objects, says that which is the most brightest one, the brightest and the most shining is the moon. And first, therefore, from the Tatastha Lakshanam, then the Swarupa Lakshanam is given. Prakrishta Prakashatmakam Bodhayati Evam hi Bodhya Buddhi Sukhena Chandre Avatarita Bhavati. If this buddhi of this person is made to see in this manner, then in a simple, easily he can see that moon. Otherwise, it may take half an hour, to make him see the moon. But in this manner, when first you present Tatastha Lakshanam, if you only keep on describing Swarupa Lakshanam, then you may see in many places that the bright object in the sky is moon. Then there are so many bright objects. That one, not that one. This one, not this one. Therefore, he may go all over the world, and then hopefully he may come to Chandra. So it may be very lengthy and tedious process. First, Tatastha Lakshanam. That even though the branch is not connected to the moon, first you say the moon is on the branch, so he doesn't look elsewhere, he looks at the branch, and then say that all the few objects that are there near the branch, that which is the the brightest is moon. So easily this boy learns or understands what moon is. There was Shruti also. They similarly presents these two Lakshanas, Tatastha Lakshanam and Swarupa Lakshanam. He explains here nicely. Evam Brahmavidapnodi Paramadi Upashrutya. And so somebody has heard Brahmavidapnodi Param. That is how the Brahmananda Valli of Taittiriya Upanishad begins. The knower of Brahman attains limitless. In the Upashrutya, this is what the student hears. Brahma Shabdasya Anekatra Prayoga Darshanat. Inasmuch as word Brahma is employed in many senses, Brahma is employed as Hiranyagarbha, as Brahmana, as Vedas, and as so many other things. And therefore, and of course Param Brahma, Anekatra Prayoga Darshanat, Mumukshoho Gneha Brahma Shabdartha Kaha. And therefore, Brahma Shabdartha Kaha. What is the meaning of the word Brahma? That is what the Mumukshu will want to know. Iti Bubhutsoho Bodhuvichoho. So, Brahma Shabdartha Kaha. What is the meaning of the word Brahman in the Brahma Vidapnodi Param? What is the meaning of the word Brahman? This is what the student wishes to know. Okay. So, Jagat Karanatva Upanyasena Yeshu, this is nice. Jagat Karanatva Upanyasena Yeshu Jivadishu Jagat Karanatvam Nasambhavadi Tesham Srujya Kodi. Because this is all going to be brought up in the Bhashya or in the Ratnabhava also. Yeshu Jivadishu Jagat Karanatvam Nasambhavadi Tesham Srujya Kodu Nivishtataya. First of all, the buddhi of the student or the jignasu must be released from many other possible causes of creation. He may think that Prajapati is the cause, is Brahman, because that's the cause of creation, and so on and so forth. So first Brahman is presented as the cause of the creation in order to release Brahman from Jiva. So Yeshu Jivadishu Jagat Karanatva Upanyasena, by presenting Brahman first as Jagat Karanam or the cause of the creation, Yeshu Jivadishu Jagat Karanatvam Nasambhavati, all other jivas such as Hiranyagarbha is also jiva in as much as it is created or born, that they are not primarily the cause of the creation. Tesham Srujya Kodu Nivishtataya, then it will be said that all of these are Srujya Kodi, meaning all of them are created. That Akashad Vayu Akad, Atmana Akasha Sambhuta Akashad Vayu, etc. So thus this Akasha Vayu, all of them are presented as what? Srujya Koti, meaning those we are created, and those we are created cannot be the cause of the creation. Srashtutva Sambhavat, and that is how the boy may think that maybe some exalted being is the creator of this universe, and presenting that exalted being also as a created one. Therefore, his buddhi is released from that, so that he will not look up to some jiva or a created being, however exalted it is, as the Jagat Karanam. Tebhya Vyavritta Buddhehe, just as the boy's attention was first withdrawn from all directions and directed to branch, so also first the attention of the jignasu is withdrawn from every place else and directed to Jagat Karanatvam. Tebhya Vyavritta Buddhehe, when Brahman is presented as Jagat Karanatvam, Jagat cannot be its own Karanatvam, and therefore anything that is in the Srujya Koti, none of them can be the cause of creation, and therefore the Jignasu's buddhi is withdrawn from all those possible considerations. Tebhya Vyavritta Buddhehe संभवत जगत कारण भावेषु प्रधानादिषु ब्रह्मत्व भ्रमम अपनेतुम. Then you may think that pradhanam is jagat karanam. So you may think Maya is jagat karanam or pradhanam is jagat karanam. All right, pradhanam is not created. So this mahat etc. are created and they are not jagat karanam, but pradhanam is not created. So the jignasu might continue to feel that pradhanam can be jagat karanam, and therefore knowing pradhanam one becomes limitless. Pradhanadishu brahmatva brahmam apanetum swarupa lakshanam upanyasya, and therefore now swarupa must be stated. Because that boy may think there are so many bright objects, any one of them can be moon. And so also this jignasu may think that there are so many causes. Param Brahma also is the cause of Janma Sthiti Laya, and Pradhanam also is the cause of Janma Sthiti Laya. So Ati Vyapti may be there. So Prakrushta Prakashas Chandra. Not only Prakashas Chandra, Prakrushta Prakashas Chandra. Similarly also Swarupa Lakshanam is stated. Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. So Pradhana is dismissed. Pradhana is not Jnanam because it is Jadam. And Pradhanam is not Anantam also because it is Vikari. It is not Satyam because it is Vikari. And therefore, Pradhana is dismissed when Sarupa Lakshanam is given. And that is how easily, by first presenting Brahman as the cause of the creation, you know that nothing that is perceptible or nothing that is knowable becomes the cause. And still Pradhanam can be possibly the cause. By presenting Brahman, Swarupa Lakshanam as Satyam Jnanam Anantam, Pradhanam also is dismissed. तेन ही जड़ानाम प्रधानादीनाम न ज्ञानादि स्वरूपता उपपद्यते. That न is to be added there. That this pradhanam etc. with this jada न ज्ञानादि स्वरूपता उपपद्यते. Pradhanam cannot be jnanam. And therefore ततश्च आद्यम लक्षणम केभ्यश्चित् व्यावृत्ति निश्चय पूर्वकम बुद्धि स्थिरीकरणार्थम द्वितीयम तो सकल भ्रम निवृत्ति पूर्वकम वस्तु स्वरूप निश्चयार्थमिति. ततश्च आद्यम लक्षणम, फर्स्ट लक्षण इज व्हाट? Janmadhyasya atah, or Jagat Karanatvam. So Brahma is first presented as Tatastha Lakshana of Brahma is Jagat Karanam. By presenting Brahman as Jagat Karanam, Kebhyasit Vyavrattisya Purvakam, that the Jignasa's buddhi is released from most of the things, and whatever few possibilities are left, says buddhi sthiri karanartham, his buddhi now becomes sthira to only a few objects. Dvitiyam tu sakala brahma nivritti purvakam, when you present satyam jnanam anantam as the swarupa lakshanam, then all other possibilities are eliminated. Vastu swarupa nischayarthamiti, and that is why these two lakshanas, tatastha lakshanam and swarupa lakshanam, these two lakshanas are employed by the Shruti. Okay, so padartha muktva, now you come. Sutra padanam pratyegam martha muktva ityartha. Bhashyakara, having stated the padartha meaning, the word meaning of every word of the sutra, sutra vakyarthamaha asya iti. We'll read that vakya on the page 100. Bhashya. Asya jagataha nama rupabhyam vyakritasya अनेक कर्तृभोक्त संयुक्तस्य प्रतिनियत देश काल निमित्त क्रिया फलाश्रयस्य मनसाप्य चिन्त्य रचना रूपस्य जन्म स्थिति भंगम यतः सर्वज्ञात् सर्वशक्तेः कारणात् भवति तद ब्रह्म इति वाक्यशेषः. तद ब्रह्म इति वाक्यशेषः, not the whole. Tad Brahma should be in the inverted commas. Tad Brahma iti vakyasheshah. Asya jagatah. Now look at the world. So when you look at the world, then you see the wondrous creation. Then it gives you an idea of how the creator must be. Asya jagatah, of this world, of this creation. Nam rupabhyam vyakritasya. That creation that is manifest in the form of names and forms. Aneka kartru bhoktru sanyuktasya, where there are so many kartas and bhoktas, meaning so many doers, agents of action, and so many enjoyers. So consisting of so many agents of action and so many agents of enjoyment. Pratiniyata deshakala nimitta kriya phalashrayasya. All of this is understood. When Sutrakara says asya, then he requires you to think also, Asya Jagata, what's the nature of this creation? Which consists of these names and forms, which consists of so many enjoyers, so many doers, and so many great things. Pratineda, which is an orderly creation also. Pratineda deshakala nimitta kriya phalashrayasya. Kriya phalam means karma phalam. So this karma phalam, or the result of the action, is there in this creation, which is pratiniyatam, which is in an orderly manner, where desha, kala and the nimitta, the result of the action always comes in keeping with desha, the time, the place, that what is appropriate place for giving the result of a particular action, kala, what is the appropriate time for giving a particular result, and nimitta, what is the appropriate nimitta, or the situation or the condition under which a particular result must be given, or in which place, time and nimitta condition the karma is performed, and therefore in which particular space, time and condition the result must be given. All of these are very orderly obtaining where this is a creation. So this creation is an orderly creation, where there is an order, where there is a karta and bhokta. Karta is the one who performs the action at a given place, time and under a given situation, and there is a bhokta who alone experiences the result. So the one who is a doer is the one who experiences the result. And does the result of an action come to him in an arbitrary manner? He says no, it comes to him in an orderly manner. The result which is appropriate to a particular action alone comes to the one who has performed the action, and also it comes to him at the proper time and in the proper place and in the proper conditions. This is again a matter of belief, by the way, So Shraddha comes here. So you must know what is belief for your information, because when some people will question you, you will not have any logic to say this. Swamiji, this lady is suffering now at the time of death, and she has led a very pious life, has not hurt anybody. Why should she suffer? There is no answer to the question. Swamiji, why is this always happening to me? How come whatever I do doesn't seem to succeed? I seem to be frustrated all the time. Why? Why should there be so much suffering in the world? What did these poor people of Iraq have done that they must undergo all this suffering? Why? You will have answer to none of these questions. And still we continue to say that whatever happens, happens because it should happen, or there is a meaning behind it. And even further, the devotees of the Lord will say, whatever happens, happens for good. Now it is very difficult to see the good in so much suffering. Who can see that? So all of this becomes a matter of faith, which ultimately will be discovered. However, to begin with, all of these are matter of faith. Even what happens to us itself is not, we can't explain, let alone what is happening in the world is a very difficult. But then since Vedanta wants to address itself to the whole scheme, doesn't leave out anything. Not like other fellows who only address a few problems in life and leave out the rest. Vedanta is an all-inclusive vision. And therefore it must explain, or it must give an explanation of whatever is there, wherever is that, and whenever it is. And therefore it said, Pratiniyata, Deshakala, Nimitta. I don't know whether Shankaracharya ever had to face these questions or not. But I'm sure, and still very boldly and assertively it is said here, Pratiniyata, Deshakala, Nimitta, Kriya, Phalashrayas. And we will not say that he is repeating what is written. We are sure that he says what he knows. If someone else repeats all these sentences, we know that he is repeating from somewhere. But not, so we consider Bhashyakara also as pramana, as much as whatever he says because he knows that to be true. And therefore, we can also take it to be true, to begin with. Give it all the benefit of doubt and accept it. It's called verifiable belief, they say. These hopefully are all verifiable beliefs, not unverifiable belief, So heavens, etc., the beliefs that cannot be verified in your lifetime. Whereas when you have that pure heart, and when your heart is thus the devotion and the love, you'll be able to see that act of love even in what appears to be cruel. But that is going to require that kind of a purity. So then, when one has cultivated that kind of an instrument of knowledge, then this becomes a verifiable thing. Until then, it remains only a Shraddha, belief. But then we have that reverence in this statement. Therefore, this is called Shraddha. Shastrasya Guru Vakyasya. This Guru Vakya. But Guru Vakya comes from Shastra alone. And therefore, Shastrasya Guru Vakyasya Satya Buddhya Udharana. Manasapi Achintya Rachana Rupasya. That we don't mean to say that we can explain everything. Manasapi Achintya Rachana Rupasya. Whose Rachana, meaning whose formation cannot be, is beyond the scope of the mind, which is mind-boggling, as I say, So, this whole universe which is mind-boggling, you cannot explain. What in the subatomic realm you cannot explain. In the realm of large bodies you cannot explain. In the realm of what is perceptible you cannot explain anything ultimately. Still we accept that there is an order. Not that we can explain it necessarily, but that there is an order. So, Achinta Rachana Rupasya Janma Sthiti Bhangam Yataha of universe such as this, the Janma Sthiti and Bhanga of the universe such as this, Yataha, from which Sarvajnat Sarvashakte. How does Vashyakara say that the Jagat Karanam is Sarvajnam? That will be explained tomorrow. That's why all these attributes of the Jagat are stated here. All of these Nam Rupabhyam Vyakrutasya Aneka Kartrubhoktru Sanyuktasya Pratiniyata Deshakala Nimitta Kriya Phalashrayasya and Manasabi Achinta Rachana Rupasya. These are the four attributes of Jagat, not of Brahman. Because Asya, this is perceptible to us. So we ourselves can see this. And that gives us an idea of what must be Brahma. And so, Yas Sarvajna Sarvavit, Yasya Jnanamayam Tapaha. So thus, Shruti does say Brahma is Sarvajnam, but then that also is tenable when we observe this universe. So Bhashyaka Yataha Sarvajnat Sarvashaktehe. The Jagat Karanam of the Creator, the Jagat cause of the creation, must necessarily be Sarvajnam, omniscient, Sarvashakti, necessarily omnipotent. Karanat bhavati tad brahmaidi vakya shesha. So, that cause from which universe such as this arises, that is Brahma. This is what is the meaning of this sutra. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Atha Om Atha Om Atha Adyasya Yataha. 100 of this book. Asya Jagataha Nam Rupabhyam Vyakritasya Aneka Kartrabhoktra Sanyuktasya Pratiniyata Deshakala Nimitta Kriya Phalashrayasya Manasapya Chintya Rachana Rupasya Janmasthiti Bhangam Yataha Sarvajnat Sarvashaktehe Karanat Bhavati Tad Brahmeti Vakyarthaha Vakyasheshaha. Thus, having given the meaning of the individual words in the sutra, Bhashyakara now gives us the sutrartha, what is conveyed by this particular sutra or the aphorisms. Janmadi asyataha. Janmadi meaning Janmasthiti Bhangam, the creation, sustenance and dissolution, asya of this world, Yataha, from which cause. So the cause from which is the creation, sustenance and dissolution of this universe is Brahma. This is the meaning of the sutra. When you say Asya Jagataha, Asya is that which is perceptible. As I said, Pratyaksha Pratyakshadi Sannidhapitasya. So that creation which is presented before us, which is known to us by such means of knowledge as perception, inference, etc. So whatever is known and knowable, of which this whole universe consists of, which consists of the gross and the subtle creations, of that which is the cause of the creation, sustenance and dissolution is Brahman. This is the meaning. Now, says Ratna Prabha on the page 100, in the second line, Karanasya Sarvajñatvādi Sambhavanārthāni Jagato Visheshanāni. So these four Visheshanas Bhashyakara has employed here to describe Jagat, which is Pratyakshādi Sannidhāpitasya. Asya, that Jagat or the creation which is perceptible and knowable, known to us. And to describe this world or the creation, Bhashyakara has given here or employed four Visheshana or the four attributes to describe this world in order to bring out the attributes of the cause. So in observation of the very creation also will give us an idea, or we can infer the nature of the cause. Not that we can prove, but we can infer, or we can provide what we call a supporting logic to show what should be the nature of the cause, which of course is ultimately confirmed only by the Shruti. So Shruti or the Upanishad is really our source of knowledge, which alone can tell us what is the nature of the Creator, what is the nature of Ishvara, it said. So this is how Mundaka Upanishad and the various other Upanishads describe. This is Yas Sarvajñah Sarvavid Yasya Jnanamayam Tapaha. So there Creator is described as Sarvajñah, omniscient, Sarvavid, one who knows everything. Yasya Jnanamayam Tapaha, one whose tapas is of the nature of knowledge, one who is all-knowing. Yasya Isha Mahima Bhuvi, and of this, the Bhuvi in the world or in the universe, this Mahima or whose glory is very evident. So one who is having this evident glory and who is omniscient and all-knowing, that is Ishvara. This is how Shruti describes, reveals Ishvara. So that is really the Pramanam. However, we provide the supporting logic to show how what the Shruti reveals is reasonable. And that is how, it is not that we infer existence of Ishvara, but we provide a supporting logic to show the possibility, or to confirm, let us say, what the Shruti reveals. Or let us to eliminate our doubts and questions with reference to what the Shruti reveals, we provide the supporting logic. That's the thing. So Karanasya, of Karanam which is Brahman, Sarvajñatvādi Sambhavanārthāni Jagato Visheshanāni. These attributes of the Jagat or the universe are presented here by the Bhashyakara to show how the cause, meaning Brahman, should properly and should rightfully possess Sarvajñatvādi, that it must be omniscient, etc. And this is what the Purnanandya says somewhere in the middle there. Jagat Karanasya Chetanatva, Sarveshwaratva, Sarvajñatva, Sarvashaktistva Sambhavanārthāni Nam Rupabhyam Ityādini Jagataha Chatvari Visheshanāni Bhavanti. These four Visheshanas are attributes to Jagat. And what are these four? Asya Jagataha Nam Rupabhyam Vyakrutasya. Number one. So what does that Jagat which is manifest in the form of his names and forms, that shows that there is something behind the manifestation of the universe, and that must be a conscious entity. Inasmuch as the material such as clay cannot bring about its own manifestation in the form of a part, but whenever we see, that we explain, whenever we find clay being manifested as a part, as a certain name and form, then we know that there must be a part maker, a conscious being. And therefore, the creator of this universe also must be a conscious being, must be Chetanam. And then one who creates also should have the knowledge of what is created. Like a pot maker has the knowledge and the knowledge of the pot which is to be created. And therefore, the creator must necessarily be the knower also. And therefore, the one who has created this universe must also be the knower of the whole universe. And therefore, he must be all-knowing or omniscient, sarvajñatvam. And of course, the one who creates also should have the ability, the skill and the power, the ability to create. And therefore, he must be also sarvashakti. So, and sarveshvara, one also must have he must be the master, or must be the lord of what is created. So what is created is under the control of the creator. So sarveshvara. So these are the aspects of the creator, that is saguna Brahma. Brahman as such cannot be the creator. As we said, and we discussed earlier, that even the causality or that the creatorship also is something that is superimposed upon Brahman, because it is adhisthānam without which nothing can take place. However, Brahman, which is satyam, jnanam, anantam, cannot be created in a primary sense. It can be what we call the vivarta upadana karanam or vivarta karanam. It must be only a creator as such in a secondary sense, not in a primary sense. Then who is the creator in the primary sense? Maya Shabalam Brahma. Brahma which is associated with or functioning through Maya. That becomes a creator in the primary sense. Same Brahman is called creator. It is not that Ishvara or creator is a separate principle. Same Brahman is Ishvara. Inasmuch as we are looking for a cause, and to the extent that we see that since we perceive this creation that there must be a creator, and that we see all these glories and the abilities and the powers and all the kinds of Ichcha Shakti, Kriya Shakti, all these we find in the creation. Therefore, we look upon Creator, which is Brahman alone, as the very basis or the locus of all this knowledge and power and abilities. And that is how, since it is not possible Brahman really to manifest itself as creation, therefore we associate what we call Maya, an inexplicable or incomprehensible creative ability, in an inexplicable manner associated with Brahman, cannot become part of Brahman and cannot be separate from Brahman. We cannot say that this Maya is real, nor can we say it is non-existent. Sannapya sannapya bhayatmikano, bhinnapya bhinnapya bhayatmikano. We can't say that Maya is separate from Brahman, nor can we say it is part of Brahman. Sangapya nangapya bhayatmikano. We can't say that Maya is a composite entity, or we cannot say that it is niravayava. Thus, we cannot categorize this Maya in any way. Therefore, it is called mithya. That which cannot be categorized at all. That is what we call mithya. And that is how Maya, the cause, is. And therefore, it is on account of Maya that Brahman gains the designation of the cause of creation. And that's why we say that Maya Shabalam Brahma, that Brahman associated with its creative power called Maya is the creator, sustainer, dissolver. In itself, Matsthani Sarvabhutani, Nachaham Teshvastitah, Nacha Matsthani Bhutani. In its own way, Nacha Matsthani Bhutani, this creation of the world is not in me, because the rope can say, the snake is not in me. So rope, from the standpoint of rope, there is no snake at all, and therefore there is no question of explaining the creation of snake. But from the standpoint of the viewer, that there is a snake. Therefore we have to give an explanation of the snake. And so what is the cause of the snake? Rope alone can be called to be the cause of the snake, because there is nothing else there. And snake could not be unless the rope is. And ultimately we know that object as rope. Where does the snake go away? The snake resolves back in the rope also. Therefore we say that rope is that from which the snake arises, by which the snake is sustained, and to which the snake goes back. This is how we will say. Rope, without really getting transformed or without giving up its nature in any way, still becomes the creator of the snake. Not that a real snake is created, but some kind of a snake is created. The snake also the same kind of an existence, which is what we call mithya, but we cannot say that it is. If it is, then it cannot be negated. We cannot say it is not. Had it not been, it could not be perceived. Satchet na badhyeta, asatchet na pratiyeta. If that snake were real, na badhyeta, you could never negate it. A real snake cannot disappear, by just showing a torchlight. But this snake disappears, that shows that it is not really there. But then, you cannot say that it is there. But then you cannot say it is not there, because as long as that battery is not shown there, so long I find it there, I perceive it. Therefore, since I perceive it, I cannot say it is not there. And since it is negated, I cannot say that it is there. So we cannot say what it is, what is the top of that snake. Therefore, there is this word called mithya. And the universe also falls in that category. So Maya is the cause of mithya. And Brahman, in some manner associated with this Maya, gains the designation of the cause of the creation. And therefore, that Brahman we call Ishvara. Not Ishvara, I don't believe in Ishvara, people say. It's not a question of belief. Brahman alone is Ishvara. So we believe in Brahman all right, but not in Ishvara. This is another complex. So we think that by believing in Ishvara, we somehow lose our status, or something like that. Same Brahman which comes to be called Ishvara. And therefore, that since the omniscience, omnipotence, omnipresence, etc. must be located someplace, so Brahman alone is the locus, and therefore Brahman alone comes to be called Ishvara, the Lord. And to bring out this important aspect of the creator or the cause of the creation, Bhashyakara uses here these different adjectives to describe the creation, describe the world. So Ratnaprabha said, Sarvajñatvadi Sambhavanarthani. In fact, it's Chetanatva, Sarveshwaratva, Sarvajñatva, Sarvashaktitva. These are the four attributes of the creator which are brought out. And still, Ratnaprabha says Sarvajñatvadi, Sarvajña is the adi of which, it should be Chetanattvadi. But anyway, since Bhashyakara says Sarvajñat, Sarvashaktehe, therefore keeping in mind, Ratnaprabhakara also says, and that which Sarvajñam must necessarily be Chetanam, and that which Sarvashakti must necessarily be Sarveshwara, and therefore instead of saying 4, Ratnaprabhakara says 2, that's okay. Now Ratnaprabha explains further. Yatha says how these Visheshanas, or how the attributes such as Nam Rupabhyam Vyakrutasya, Aneka Khatru Bhoktru Sanyuktasya, so these attributes of the Jagat, or the adjectives of Jagat, or the creation which are brought about, how do they bring about the attributes of creator also? That is what the Ratnaprabhakara explains. Says Yatha, to illustrate. Yatha is to illustrate. Kumbhakaraha prasamam kumbha shabda bhedena vikalpitam pruthubuddhnodara swarupam buddhau arikhya tadatmana kumbham vyakarodi bahif prakadayadi tatha. So analyze the process of creation of a kumbha or a pot. Kumbhakara, who is Kumbhakara? Ghatam chikirshuhu kulalaha. Kumbhakara means the creator of the pot. But still he has not become creator. Ghatam chikirshuhu kulalaha. So this kulala meaning this pot maker who is desirous of making a pot. Therefore the Kumbhakara is properly explained as Ghatam chikirshuhu kulalaha. Prasamam Kumbha Shabda Abhedena Vikalpitam Pruthubuddhnodara Swarupam Buddhu Alikhya. So, first of all, Alikhya means Vicharya. In his mind, this pot maker or potential pot maker, in his mind, first of all, visualizes a pot or a kumbha. What is this kumbha or a pot? Pruthu buddhnodara swarupam. Pruthu means this vast, wide. Buddhna udara, having a bottom as well as a wide stomach. So this is how they describe a pot. So Pruthu buddhnodara swarupam kumbham buddho arikhya. So first of all, visualizing a pot, having a pot belly, let us say. What is a pot is that having a vast belly. So, such an object having a narrow mouth or a narrow opening and a wide stomach, so and a base, imagining or visualizing such an object, which is what we call kumbha. Kumbha shabda abhedena vikalpitam. How does this pot become visualized in the mind of a pot maker? When he utters in his mind the word pot, then immediately strikes in his mind this object corresponding to the word pot. Because pada and the artha, both of them are invariably related. Wherever pada or the word is, there the artha or the corresponding object must be. Nama and the rupa, where the name is, there must be a corresponding form. Even though in the minds of different people the corresponding form may be different, but in the mind of everyone some form must necessarily arise at the utterance of a word. Even confusion may arise. What does it mean? Some such thing can arise. If you utter a word like gagabugang, it must bring about some kind of a response in the mind, that confusion or something funny or whatever it is. And thus every word must necessarily create in our mind a corresponding concept. Thus a word pot must necessarily create a concept, as I understand, as a kumbhakara or a pot maker understands. At that time, that pot which is visualized in the mind is non-separate from the word. Kumbha shabda abhedena, meaning shabdavachya abhedena. That kumbha word or a pot word has a vachya, has a meaning, and the form that gets visualized in the mind of a pot maker is something that is not yet separate from that name. So name and form, both of them get manifest first in the mind of the pot maker. Before a pot is created outside, before a physical pot presents itself, even through this pot maker, it must necessarily occur in the mind of the pot maker as a name and form, where the name and form are non-separate from each other. So kumbhakaraha prathamam kumbha shabda abhedena vikalpitam prusubudhnodara surupam buddhau alikhya, visualizing that in his mind. Alikhya means vicharya. Tadatmana kumbham vyakaroti bahif prakatayati. Vyakaroti is bahif prakatayati. Then tadatmana, in the same, so having kumbha or the pot, having the very same nature, is brought into manifestation by the pot maker. Thus a pot which occurred first in the mind of the pot maker as a given name and form is brought to manifestation by the pot maker, corresponding to what was visualized in his mind. So when we have this Chitra Pradarshanam, we had this exhibition or the contest, of the children drawing Shankaracharya. You can see all different Shankaracharyas. So every child's mind, something comes. So when you utter the word Shankaracharya, or when they see Shankaracharya, a certain concept is presented in their mind. Somebody imagines Shankaracharya is surrounded by all kinds of trees and things like that in a forest. Somebody visualizes Shankaracharya seated in the Himalayas with the Ganges and things. Somebody visualizes Shankaracharya seated in the front of a kutia under a tree. And different kinds of manifestations, the sketches or pictures are there which represent what is visualized in the mind of the child. Or when they told them the story of how Shankaracharya goes to this poor lady seeking bhiksha, and how the lady is totally frustrated and disappointed because she is not able to give anything more than an amalaka fruit. How Shankaracharya prays to the Lord and how there is a shower of the golden amalas. So that scene, people show them differently. Children have their own visualization. Somebody shows Goddess Lakshmi seated there in the sky, in the space, and then showering these amalas. Somebody thinks it's coming from this direction, that. All kinds of visualizations are there. So what you see in that sketch or in that painting or is something that is first visualized in the mind, and what is brought to manifestation is in accordance with what is visualized. Thus an architect also, before he brings to manifestation a building, first is visualized in his own mind, and this is the stage in which the creation must pass through. Tatha, now this is only a conjecture. In the same manner we imagine that God also being creator, like a pot maker, must be also going, this creation also must be going through these stages. Tatha, Paramakaranamapi. So Kumbhakara is a Kumbhakaranam. Paramakaranam, that is ultimate cause. Meaning Brahman, Svekshitam Nama Rupatmana Vyakaroti. Even the Paramakaranam, the ultimate cause, namely Brahman also, Svaikshitam, Tadaikshata, So Kamayata, Bahusyam Prajayayati, Tadaikshata, Bahusyam Prajayayati. And thus Ikshanam, first there is a Ikshanam means visualization of that universe which is going to be created, Svaikshitam. Nam Rupatmana Vyakaroti, and the ultimate creator, meaning God, also brings to manifestation the universe of the nature of names and forms, as it was first visualized in the total mind. Ida anumiyate iti matvaha. This is what we infer. Thus, we infer what should possibly be the nature of the ultimate creator also, based on the knowledge that we have from the local creator, namely a pot maker. Therefore, Bhashyakara said, Nam Rupabhyam Vyakritasya Itham Bhave Tritiya. Itham Bhave means Abhede Tritiya. So, Nam Rupabhyam meaning as names and forms, not through names and forms or anything. It is third case. It was third, fourth or fifth, any case, Nam Rupabhyam. So first of all, it is third case, instrumental case. At the same time, it is not in the instrumental sense, it is Itham Bhave Trutiya, meaning in the sense of Abheda. Meaning it is not that the world is separate from name and form, or through name and form the world is created. As name and form the world is created. That's all the world is. World is what? Nothing but the names and forms. So, that shows what? Adhyakaryam Chetanajanyam Karyatvat Kumbhavaditi Pradhana Shunyayoho Nirasaha. Thus when we find that the creation of the world is similar to a pot, Why is the world similar to a pot? That a pot has a name, pot, and a form. Prasubudno Darakaram. Similarly also the world consists of the various objects, each one of them has a name and a corresponding form. A pot is an intelligent creation inasmuch as it serves a certain purpose. It is not an accident, not just an arbitrary or a random creation, but then it's a deliberate creation, an intelligent creation meant to serve a certain purpose. And so we find the universe consisting of all these names and forms, each one of them having a purpose, therefore it is brought out with a deliberation. So that deliberation is shown, so kamayata bahusyam prajayeti. It's a deliberate creation, an intelligent creation where everything has a purpose to serve. We may not necessarily know what that purpose is, but we can definitely infer that whatever there is and wherever it is must have some reason to be there. And this is how this whole universe is compared to a pot. The pot is so small, universe is just vast, but even then, as far as the basic characteristics are concerned, there is a similarity there, and therefore, the rule that applies to a pot applies to the whole universe. That's why Vedanta is like pot so much. In every way it helps them. Helps them to understand the nature of creation, nature of creator, and everything else. So says here, Adhyakaryam Chetanajanyam. Thus, this Adhyakarya means the very first cause. Chetanajanyam Karyam, first effect, which is the universe, is Chetanajanyam. It must be